Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? I hope you all doing well. So the last topic was that of literature, and now we are going to start the history of English literature. According to my point of view, it is very much easy to understand the history of English literature. First of all, in many books, a number of scholars, philosophers, writers, they have written down the history in many critical ways. Okay, although all those ways are very much authentic indeed, but I think so history is a kind of subject that is driven. Okay, so why don't we take it, or why don't we understand it in a very easier manner? Why to create ambiguity in a thing that is already ambiguous? Just think about it. Anyway, inshallah, I'm going to give you a very brief and exact review about history of English literature. So let's start. But before doing that, make sure you people have subscribed my channel and like the video. Let me know about which topic you want a video next time. Okay, so let's start. All right. Before discussing these things, let me tell you about an overview of this age. Many people say the time starts from 600 D, many say from 670, many say from 650. These kind of we are having these kind of myths. Here they have written down the earliest time till 1066. Okay, I would like to say that from 6th century, the earliest time that can include it into 670 to 1100. Okay, so basically the Anglo Saxon period, why it called like that? The Anglo-Saxon period is known as Anglo-Saxon because in Britain, the Britain was occupied by the two tribes that were named by Angles and Saxons. Okay, basically the two of the tribes, they belong to Denmark. Okay, and now they occupied Britain, and their basic language was English. Okay, so in this scenario, that era was known as England. Okay, so because they were English people and their basic language was English, that is why they are the ancestor of English language or English people. Clear? All right. So Anglo-Saxon. So the time period in which they reside, Britain, is known as Anglo-Saxon period. Okay. The next thing is, when they were living over there, Britain was still having the Roman Empire. Okay, although they were having their own beliefs and norms and all these kind of things. And if we are going to, as here you can see, social background was the making of England, the invasion of Roman Empire in the 4th AD, the attacks of a Viking, etc. So these were the points, these were the social happening basically that were going on in that era. So if we do talk about a literature of that time, so nothing was very much prominent that was produced in that era, but yes, we can find some of the poetry, some of the poems that were written by them, and from them the five basic poems are famous: Virsid, Valder, Ramon of the Virsid and Valdir, but the Beowulf is the most prominent of them all. Okay, Beowulf, the earliest literature, the national epic of the Anglo-Saxon period, one of the striking features, the use of alliteration. So Beowulf is about a person, a hero who was named Beowulf. Okay, and it's all about his journey. This epic. Now, because we are introducing a new word to you people, epic. Okay, so you must know what an epic actually is. An epic is a long narrative poem in elevated style presenting characters of high position. Remember it. Remember each and every word that we are going through in this definition. In a series of adventures which form an organic whole. The earliest epic Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Okay. So these were the kind of epics that were written, and basically what is an epic? Let's revise it. Epic is a long narrative poem, okay, in a high in a very far-fetched kind of style, in a flowery language, presenting the character who are belong to royal and royalty class and upper class of high position. And there you can see a series of adventure, series of happenings going on, which form an organic whole that will be interlinked to each other. The next thing is alliteration. In an alliterative word, certain assonant words in a line begin with the same consonant sound. So it's very much critical, so let's make it more easier for you. Alliteration means the repetition of consonant sounds. For example, when we say seashore, simple, seashore, okay. I see seashells on seashore, okay. So these kind of sound, the sound that is repeating throughout the line is known as alliteration. I hope it's clear to you now. Okay, let me give you one more line, and then you will decide yourself in the end of the video whether it's like which words would be alliteration in this line. When wheat in wheels, shoot long and lovely and lush. Okay, so the first first point, first scenario, first phase of history of English literature must be clear to you till now in a very simple words. The next period was the medieval period, okay. Basically it is known as Anglo-Norman period as well, okay. The medieval period is known as Anglo-Norman period as well. Why? Because they were the people who were basically from France, okay. Normans, they occupied them, whom they occupied Anglo Saxon tribes, okay. In the Battle of Hastings, the King Alfred, he won the battle obviously, and then they defeated the Anglo Saxon tribes, and they start living over there. That is why when the Britain was conquered by the Normans, this period was known as Anglo-Norman period as well as the medieval period. Clear? Okay, so we can it falls from 1066 or 1100 to 1500, okay. It is very much important to remember all these dates, students, okay. It's very much important. First of all, the names of the eras, then the dates, then their social background, then the prominent writers or poets or novelists, whatever you are having, then the literature, books. These things are very much important, literary terms, okay. If you do remember all these things which are important, I am telling you the very important things. If you are writing these things in your paper, you are going to get full marks inshallah, because they are the basic one. All right, so the social background in medieval period was the Norman conquest under William Duke of Normandy, the Battle of Hastings in 1066, the mark of establishment of feudalism. Okay, so basically the Norman conquest under William Duke of Normandy, the Battle of Hastings, बताया, right? So this was the basic thing. Social background. The Norman conquest, as I have told you, under William Duke of Normandy, the Battle of Hastings in 1066, the mark of establishment of feudalism, where the Normans, they conquered England and they start living over there. So they produced literature. Langland, English ballad, romance, Chaucer. So the Langland is basically refers to William Langland. Okay, he was the prominent figure in of a medieval time period. Then there is Ghower as well, and Chaucer. Chaucer is the most important one. William Langland, he has written the very important work of William Langland was Piers the Plowman. That was an allegory. Now it is again next term that you must know. Allegory, a form of extended metaphor in which objects, persons, and actions in a narrative are equated with the meanings that lie understand outside the narrative itself. In now this is very much difficult kind of critical kind of definition. Now in my words, in simple words, do remember allegory is a story with double meaning. What is an allegory? Allegory is a story with double meaning. Remember it? Okay. If you people have just watched Donkey King, it is an allegory in itself. Okay, that movie is an allegory. Why? Because it is having a meaning. It is having a story that is going on in front of our eyes, but it is also having an underneath story that is related to our politicians, right? Okay, the next one is ballad. As we have just read over here that English ballads were written over there. So the most important department of English folk literature, a story told in song. What is a ballad? Ballad is basically the starting song of anything in which a group of people they sing a song while they are telling a story. So basically you can say that ballad is a story in a form of a song. Okay, romance, the most prevailing kind of literature in feudal England, a long composition, sometimes in verse, sometimes in prose, describing the life and adventure of a noble hero. So, now, when it comes to romance, the students and teenagers, they especially, start to idealize it like something else, like a girl and a boy and affairs and things like that. Why? Because our society has made that a kind of what should I say, a kind of very much foolish thinking that may arouse in minds of the teenagers. Anyway, romance is basically a kind of lyrical poem or poems about that usually about nature. Okay, the material that is written about nature is related to romance mostly. And yes, then they relate that romantic things, that romantic prose, that romantic lyrical poem to our daily life, to our members of daily life. So the Chaucer is the most important and prominent feature of this era. The founder of English poetry, the father of English poetry, introduced the rhymed stanza of various types in poetry. The first great poet who wrote in the English literature. Okay, so basically, if there arouse one question, it is very much important. You must write down that Chaucer is known as the father of English poetry. Okay, basically he has used the meter of English meter in a very specific manner. That is why he is known as the father of English poetry. His most prominent work in medieval time period was the Canterbury Tales, a picture of 14th century England beginning with a general prologue. Prologue means starting, in introduction, with the influence of Picasso's Decameron. Okay, so Chaucer has written a lot of material in that era, but the Canterbury Tales was, you can say, his landmark work in the history of English literature. Otherwise, he has translated a lot of work in that era. Basically, his time period or his work can fall into three categories. First was where he has, changed the Italian work and French work into his own language, and then he has written the English work, English literature things. Otherwise, John Gower was also the prominent figure of that era. William Langland, John Gower, and Chaucer. Clear? Okay, so here till now we have gone through Anglo Saxon and Anglo Norman period. Usually, that is known as the earliest history of English literature till medieval time period. Is that clear till now? Okay, so let's move on. English Renaissance or Renaissance period. Okay, that is that falls from that starts from 15th century to 16th century. Now, what does mean by Renaissance? Renaissance means revival of learning, new thing, rebirth. Okay, so the very title of this era shows that there is something new, the rebirth, the revival of something. Now, what kind of revival, what kind of rebirth it was? Let's see. Social background. What was the social background? 100 Years' War and Civil Wars, the weakening of nobility, and the rising of bourgeois. Bourgeois means the elite class. Okay, the elite class means the renowned personalities, nobility. Okay, the people who are having high status. The new monarchy, the reformation and weakening of power of church, employer movement, and commercial expansion. Simply means in the social scenario, basically there were wars, okay, and now the nobility was in focus. For example, now in that time period, people were writing a material that was totally based on high rank, on a noble class, on people of church. Now, why the people of church? Because in that era, church was known as the most highest and noble, noble point of that era. The center of attraction of that era was church. So that is why the people, they were writing over these personalities or celebrities. Obviously, they were celebrities at that time for the people. Why? Because they were renowned people. Okay, and not only over here, even Chaucer in Canterbury Tales, he has discussed all the brutalities and all the foolish things about the people who belongs to church. Okay, and that is why in that era they were having moral and morality plays. Okay, that is also one more point that we can add up into medieval time period. The people, they were performing moral and morality plays. Anyways, what kind of literature now produced in Renaissance? Humanism was focus. Okay, with the passage of time, when they were creating material, or they were writing about high class. Meanwhile, the new term was introduced, that was of humanism, where the people start to look into themselves in a human, and everything that was related to a human. Okay, that is going on in their scenarios. So, humanism literature that was produced in Thomas More, Edmund Spenser, Francis Bacon, and drama. Thomas More, Edmund Spenser, they have written down the sonnets. Okay, and Francis Bacon's essays were very much important in that era. Bacon's essays are just like the essential tide of your life. These are awesome. I would love to make another video that would be only based on Francis Bacon's essays. He was the best essayist of that time. And in drama we are having Marlowe, okay, and Shakespeare. Renaissance. The Renaissance remarked the transition from the medieval to modern world. Okay, it means the rebirth or revival of letters. It is a historical period. Two striking features of this movement were right. thirsting curiosity for the classic literature and the keen interest in the activity of humanity. Okay, the next one is humanism. Keynote of Renaissance emphasis on dignity of human beings and the importance of present life. Present life. Thomas More and his utopia. Utopia basically means that having a unfulfilled dream, or you can say that impossible dream, or our fantasy. The peak point of our fantasy is known as utopia. So his utopia is very much famous in that time period. Edmund Spencer and his The Fairy Queen. His reputation known as the poets of poet. Okay, Francis Bacon, the first English essayist, famous for his essays, as I have told you people. And drama, the highest glory of English Renaissance, with Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, and Ben Jonson's. Three of them were very much important in that era. Christopher Marlowe, the most gifted of the university wits. Okay, in university wits we are having different kind of scholars who have made the group, and they Greene, Pile, and Nash, they were the people, etc. Two more, and they were the people who created the group basically, and they were known as university wits. They have created university wits, and Christopher Marlowe, he has done a great job in doing that. Dr. Faustus was the landmark of that era, that was written by the Christopher Marlowe, and he has just nailed it, guys. Recommend you must go through this drama. Blank verse first used in his drama. So basically, he was the person who introduced blank verse in English literature. Now, what blank verse is? This is a task that is for you people. When you are done with this video, you are supposed to Google it and learn it, and then in the next lecture we will discuss about blank verse thoroughly. Okay. Ben Jonson, his praise of Shakespeare, Walpole, soul of the age, the applause, I delight, the wonder of our stage. So this is how one author is or dramatist is, praising the other one. Shakespeare, his life, born in 1564 in Stratford on Avon and died in 1616. His work, 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long poems. These are the things that are very much important for you people to remember. Okay, very, very, very much important. I don't know how much I can emphasize over it. So his works, mainly his plays were Henry V. Like, he has written down many plays over the renowned personalities: Richard III, The Taming of the Shrew, Years of Great Comedies and Mature Historical Plays, Midsummer Night's Dream, The Merchant of Venice, As You Like It, Twelfth Night, Years of Great Tragedies and Dark Comedies. Okay, Hamlet, very nice. Othello, very nice one. King Lear, Macbeth is also love. So these are his work basically. Years of Romantic Tragedies, Cymbeline, The Winter's Tale, The Tempest. Sonnet, a poem in 14 lines with a rhyme scheme. So basically, he has written a lot of sonnets. That is why it is very much important for you people to know what a sonnet basically is. Sonnet is basically a 14 line, a poem which is 14 lines long. Okay. Rhyme scheme of Shakespeare sonnet: A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. Okay, so it is very much important to know about the scheme of his sonnets. So this is how our first part of history of English literatures ends. Okay, I hope each and everything is clear to you. Whatever we have discussed till now in part 1, it must be clear to you. Inshallah, in the very next period, in the very next video, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm going to upload the period of revolution. We'll start from the period of revolution till 18th century, the age of novel. Okay, we'll cover it all. And don't be panicked. I don't know very well that this is your first time you are going through this kind of syllabus. Just feel free to ask anything in the comments from me, and mm, just mm, just keep on going. Okay, don't give up. Just don't give up. Good luck, and remember again, nothing is difficult but just the beginning. God bless you all. Inshallah, we'll meet in our next lecture. But make sure you people have subscribed to my channel. Okay, like the video.